Hey there, Math Moment Makers. John here from Make Math Moments. And in this video, we're going to talk about one misconception we have with planning and running problem-based units in your math classroom. Let's get into it. If you have not been here before, and hey, hit the subscribe button, and we will make sure that you get notified when we go or have videos posted online. Now, if you have been before and you're liking the tips and the resources and the suggestions and the action items we give out on our channel here, hit that subscribe button so that also you can get notifications when we have videos. So let's get into it. What is that misconception? And the misconception is that many teachers think that when we talk about problem-based units, teaching in our class and getting our students to engage in the activities, so noticing and wondering and we're sparking curiosity, that we have to do that and that alone every single day. That's one misconception. And in this video, we're going to talk about that misconception and how we handle that and what our day looks like. But also, this video that you're going to see here is actually is one part of our lesson in our full online workshop, which actually registration is open right now to get registered in there. This is one lesson from many. We have a 6-module, 12-week online workshop. Being a lesson from module 6, which is near the end of the workshop, we talk about misconceptions. And in this video, we're talking about one of them, but that's actually one of the 5 different misconceptions we talk about in that lesson. So that you're seeing right behind me, the snippet from our platform that hosts the workshop and the lessons here. So this one being from module 6. Notice it's 5 misconceptions, but in this one, this video for you, you're going to see the first one. Okay, so have a gander at the video here, and we'll come back and talk about how you can get into the workshop too. Hey there, John here. We want to clear some things up. I'm sure you have questions and probably a few, yeah, but what about kind of questions. So we want to address a few misconceptions that are probably floating around here. Here is misconception number 1. You need to make math moments that matter 3-part framework lessons every day. This is a major misconception. In a perfect world, we would follow our 3-part framework every day, and most days we do. We think it's just good learning, but we know every day can't be perfect. We are not following the curiosity path every single day. There will be many days where your planning changes, days you don't have control, assemblies, half the class is taken out for a field trip. The reality is that we can't control every day. But for the days we can control, we want to make those moments matter for our students. Some questions about the daily lesson plan you still might have are, what does the structure of a week look like? Where does practice and procedural fluency fit in? We fully believe that our students should be masters of mechanics, just like you do. But where do we get time to build in procedural fluency into these jam-packed 3-part framework lessons? Let me show you a typical arc from start to end in our classroom. I'm going to use an idea that I first heard from Andrew Stadell. He recommends that you build a classroom clock to help you see how you should plan and the timing in your classroom. For a long while, this is what my classroom clock looked like. My lessons are 75 minutes, by the way. I always took up homework at the start, that first 10 minutes. And then I introduced a new topic for the day, usually like, okay, now we're going to learn about how to solve linear relations. Let me show you how. I gave those step-by-step examples. I then wrote on the board the homework and let them have a good chunk of time to work on that homework. And there was that last 10 minutes of class that always ended the same way. Do you know what that was? Yep, I call it stand by the door time. Now, this is the way my class runs now, following the 3-part framework. We always begin with the warm-up, and you saw those warm-ups that I used back in lesson 2.5 with the how to start a math fight. But then notice that the rest of the lesson is not chunked up like the traditional lesson was. We start with the problem solving, and you'll notice that practice and instruction are in there, but there's practice at the end, and then there's problem solving again. It's because there's no set, perfect lesson that follows this exact framework. We're problem solving, and sometimes by doing that problem solving at the boards, following those lessons that we did in modules 4 and 5, it leads into some practice, which leads into some instruction from the teacher and the students. And then we're back to problem solving at the board some more, which involves some more practice. And then we're consolidating or connecting those ideas together. But I always leave the last 15 minutes of class to specifically practice the ideas that we've learned throughout the lesson. You see, practice here is part of every lesson. Sometimes purposeful practice fits in the lesson. Students are using the whiteboards to work through a task, and they are practicing their skills while doing that. If students are finding purpose in their practice, they will not only want to do it, but will be able to connect that practice to meaningful math concepts. Now, how does the clock look on a bigger scale? Let's look at the progression of ideas inside a strand. For example, we'll look at how we progress in high school from linear equations to solving linear systems of equations. But keep in mind, if you teach the 3rd grade, you will have a similar progression in your strand. Also keep in mind that if you're trying to spiral your content, each of these boxes may be placed in different spots in your course. The typical and traditional approach to organizing your lessons is to start each lesson off with a little bit of conceptual understanding. Teachers try to convince students the why here, but also why the math works. Then the bulk of the lesson and days are about mastering that skill, building procedural fluency, so that students are front-loaded with knowledge and skills. They'll be ready to tackle the problem-solving part of the strand, which many teachers leave until the end of the unit or the progression. Another approach begins the same way, but leaves space at the end of each lesson to do a little bit of problem solving each lesson. But still, they are front-loading those students. Instead, by now, you'll know that our 3-part framework suggests that you begin with problem solving, which creates curiosity and intellectual need that drives the lesson. It helps to build resilience and determination and confidence in your students. Then, like we outlined in Module 5, using the 5 practices can help you shape how the conceptual understanding can come into play, and then followed by the practicing of skills. And if you're spiraling, these will be spaced out throughout the course so you can maximize retention. So you may have noticed that we purposely made the sections each lesson different sizes here, because some days you'll be spending more time developing the strategies with your class, and some days you'll be practicing skills more. But we hope that you see that we need to make math moments that matter as many times as we can throughout the course. Hey there, Math Moment Makers, you're back, and hopefully you got a lot out of the video about the major misconception that we are planning our lessons every single day. You saw the classroom clock, which I got that idea off Andrew Stadell, and we talked about planning our units and what that should look like and how we're sparking curiosity every day, but it might look different every day. So remember, that was one misconception out of 5 different misconceptions we talk about in our online workshop, which is our full program of teaching problem-based units and lessons. And hey, when you register, you not only get the full modules, but we get access to our full teacher guides of all of our resources and tasks and lessons that we have that go along with that online workshop. So just if I kind of zoom in, you're seeing crossed out here module 6 because hey, I've already taken the workshop and yours could be crossed out too. But you just watched the first misconception. There are 5. We talk about textbooks, we talk about homework, we talk about worksheets in that particular module, and planning and spiraling. So all of that is in module 6, and that's one of the 6 modules in that online workshop. So you could register as well in the online workshop by heading over to makemathmoments.com/online workshop. But that's it for us this week. Take care. We'll talk to you next week.